to show you how to make my birthday cake. I designed this cake and I hope you all love it. And of course, everyone should shine bright like a diamond.
Now, step one with cakes is always to level off the cake. So I've made mine, it's an 11-inch square and I have made it 55 millimeters tall, so about 2¼ inches. And now you may be looking at this wondering what in heck I'm doing with the chopping board that's wonky, but I'm going to use this as our fast and easy way to make the cake have different variations in height, coming from the top, working our way down to the bottom. So if you need to do this yourself and you don't want to make one of these, watch John's Topsy-Turvy tutorial and he will show you exactly how you do it by measuring out different heights around the cake. So what we do is simply place the cake up here, and the aim is just to keep the cake in the same spot the whole time. Now I've also taken some 11-inch cake boards and I've gone ahead and marked up on one side only 4½ inches, and then I chopped it across just with a paper cutter. So I've just turned it 90 degrees. You don't want to do a full 180 because otherwise you won't get it positioned right in this diamond shape. So you just want to position that there. Take one of these and then we're just going to slice this down. If you're worried, cut a little bit out just in case it tapers down until you feel comfortable. And now we're just going to fill the layers and ganache it just like we would any other cake. It's no different just because of this shape. And now that my cake is ready to attach all of the silver foil, I've just popped it up onto a square cake stand just to make it really easy to brush any of the excess below as well as above. Now chocolate ganache, if it's still a bit sticky, it can just naturally attach to the foil and you don't need to add anything. But because I've been making a couple of trips into the fridge to chop everything off, I'm just using a little bit of water on a pastry brush, and that will just help it to attach just a little faster, and that way you'll find that the foil doesn't float away everywhere. Then all we do is take our little sheet, rest it up against the cake, and just slowly take that away, and you can pat it down with a blush brush or any soft paint brush. And then just bring that down. And I just love how absolutely metallic this comes out. And I'm really, really pleased with the fact that we've got tiny little bits of cake showing very, very little, just here and there, and it helps to make it a little bit more arty, and I think that's perfect for our honey. Now I'm placing this cake onto a black cake board. It's a 12-inch by 18-inch, and I'm going to set it off just to the side a touch so that I can add some writing. And this is where being taller would be great. Now, before I made a huge mess with ganache of our cake plates, I went ahead and I traced out the same shape again, this time onto just a lid of a cake box. I always have the lids that I chop off because my cakes are too tall to put the lid back on the box. So I just used what I had, and it's a really great thickness for this. So I've gone ahead and I've marked a center line, and I've also marked from this point over to here. From there, you can create any shapes you like. The main key point is just to measure up how far you want to go on both sides and then make your markings. So here, I want to have another spot coming up. So I'm going to take a look at my idea picture, and I want to work from this center point here and this one here and this one here, and I just want to go up. So along this side, I'm just measuring 5 centimeters or 2 inches. Make a little mark and do the same on this side. And then the same at the bottom. You can make again your lines anywhere that you like to. And now using a paper cutter and some scissors where I need to, I am just cutting out all of my shapes. Just make sure that it doesn't move at all. And then try and keep a track of them. Don't just cut them into a big pile. Try and keep them exactly where they're meant to go. And that will make your life so much easier in the next few steps. One of the good things about modeling chocolate that I love is that you can make a bunch of these shapes in every color that you like. If you don't like it, it doesn't matter. It's not like fondant where if you've rolled it out and you've left it on the counter for 10 minutes, then it's ruined and you can't change the shape of it. Modeling chocolate is not going to have that happen. It's not going to wear, so you can feel free to, not know necessarily where you want your colors to go, but just do a couple of extras in different colors, rearrange it, see what you think, and then you can scrunch up your excess and you can make it into a new shape anytime you like. So I'm going to take my blue and I'm going to start with maybe a small touch of it. It also doesn't stretch as much as fondant. It does a little bit, so you might need to do one extra trim on one side, but it does tend to hold its shape really, really well. So we'll put that down, and then I'll put this to the side here on some parchment paper. Now that I've got all of my pieces cut out, I popped them into the fridge for about 2 or 3 minutes, just so that the modeling chocolate will set a little bit harder to work with and to hold them. So you may notice that there's a fair bit of black, and that's okay because half of them are going to have the silver foil put on top. And I'm going to start by applying our silver foil and also some sanding sugar. So I'm choosing to do the black and the hot pink with the sanding sugar just to give it some really nice texture. So starting with the pink, I'm just going to grab our pieces and I just want to take a little bit of water and just give a really nice coating. And then I'm just taking my pink sanding sugar and sprinkling it over the top. It's really, really easy. And you just want to go ahead and do this with the pink and your black. And I'm just applying the silver foil in exactly the same technique as I did before, just wetting the surface a little bit. And then we'll take a sheet of our silver, drape it over and just pat it down and get rid of all that excess. Now that we're going to start using the luster dusts for the remaining colours, I've tried to pick a colour that's really similar in a luster to the colour that I made in the modelling chocolate. I'm also using a pair of gloves, food safe gloves, mainly because one, this is really hard to get back off your hands, and also the heat of your hands will warm up the chocolate. So as you're rubbing it with a glove on instead, I find that you can do it for a little bit longer. So all I do is get some on. It is a bit harder to get it on your finger when you've got it on the glove, but you'll thank me later when your hands aren't multicolored. And you just rub it. Okay, switching colors. I'm going to go to the next lightest, which is the blue. I actually took a Rolcom brand of blue and then some silk white to make my blue, because I found that the ones that I could buy were just a little bit too strong for the shade I was going for. So you can always just tweak it. So I've gotten out my trusty pastry brush and I'm just going to carefully go over, especially where the foil is, be really gentle. So I'm going to start with our little end pieces. So just Try not to touch the silver foil, unlike me. Okay, so it's all looking pretty good, but this pink one I think needs just the tiniest chop. Place that in there. And again, if it's not quite straight and you know it's meant to be a straight line, just give it a little trim. That's modeling chocolate for you. Really, really easy to do things like this. And to give this the finishing touch, I'm just going to do some piping onto the board. And now our beautiful diamond is all ready to show off to our birthday girl.
Oh, it looks so good.
Do you like it?
Yeah.
We've got sparkles everywhere, we've got silver foil, and there's a delicious Jaffa chocolate cake underneath. Happy 10th birthday.
Thank you.